How's it going, metalheads? Welcome back to another video. This will be a quick one. I know I just uploaded a little bit ago, but yeah, I saw something in my feed I wanted to talk about. So yeah, anyway, if you guys have been around the metal YouTubes for a bit, you might have seen this guy. His name is Lucky. He goes by Lucky Reacts. I'll tag him. But anyway, his reaction channel, and he's just been getting into metal recently. And I just wanted to talk about what he's doing over there, because it's really cool. A couple weeks ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago, a video popped into my feed of him thanking metalheads, and I had never watched his channel before, but I clicked on it because I was curious. And it was basically him just explaining how, as he started reacting to more metal and getting into it, the metalheads have been very gracious and have been recommending more bands to him, which I think is really cool. And I think that's one of the things that, is cool about metal, is that people are way more accepting when you actually give their music a shot. But I also want to talk about the fact that I think that if you watch some of his reviews or his reactions, he's reacted to Slayer and Pantera and a bunch of other stuff like Tool. But anyway, watch some of his reactions, and he is like one of the most insightful people in terms of reactions I've ever watched. Not just because it's metal, but like he talks about, like in the Slayer one, he reacted to Raining Blood. He said some things about that song that I'd never thought about, and I've been listening to that song for years. And he also made really good points. He posted a video today, or maybe it was yesterday, depending on where you are. This is pretty close to midnight where I am as I'm recording this. But anyway, he posted a video explaining why he'll never fake a metal reaction. And it was really insightful video. You guys should go watch it. It's only like 15 minutes if you guys are interested. But he basically said that, a lot of creators, when they are reacting to stuff, they do, what's trendy and what'll get the most views. And then when they turn off the camera, they don't really care about it. But he was saying how, getting into metal is a different thing for him, and that he's actually been listening to it off camera and stuff, and actually trying to get into it, because he realizes that it's more of a culture than maybe other music genres. He says he came from hip hop, which I know has a big following. I'm not a hip hop head. I have listened to a little bit, but by no means am I well versed in that genre. And so I know that other music genres have their cultures too. But he was explaining how, as he was getting into it, he was learning about the bands, and the members, and, all the things associated with it, which I think is really cool, and I think it's a cool way to do it. And he said that, he was talking about how he could never call a metal song garbage just by listening to it because he doesn't know enough about it yet. He was saying as a hip-hop head, he could figure out if a hip-hop song was trash, by just listening to it. But he was saying, as a non-metalhead or as somebody who's just starting to get into metal, he couldn't really make that distinction without, knowing enough about it, which I think was a really good point too. And I think that's really a good point. I think everybody should take that to heart, because I know metal doesn't get a lot of love in the mainstream media, and people just write it off completely without really ever giving it a shot. And so I think if we have more people like him giving it a shot, and actually getting down to the roots of what they like and don't like about it, I feel like, a lot more people would like it. I feel like a lot of something I hear a lot, at least, is that, the vocals throw me off. The guitar is cool, the drums are cool, but the vocals throw me off. And, obviously that's with extreme metal, but I feel like if people will give, other types of metal a shot, they might find something they like. I feel like there's a genre of metal for everybody, and I've said that in other videos. I think that, extreme metal vocals are an acquired taste, and obviously if you have the ear for it, then that's great, like I do, and a lot of other metalheads do. But if you are just getting into metal, maybe you should start with something else. And he's starting with the basics, like the stuff that you're supposed to start with. And obviously there's different roads to getting into metal, and everybody's different. But I feel like if you're gonna, throw yourself straight into the pit, you're not gonna like it as much as, you might start, because he's starting with like Black Sabbath and Slayer and Tool and all that stuff. It's kind of, it's not crazy. It's definitely heavy. It's definitely metal, but it's not, crazy heavy, and you're not gonna get scared away from it. I know a lot of reaction videos on metal are reacting to crazy stuff like, Slaughter to Prevail or Cannibal Corpse, which is really heavy stuff. And I don't feel like that is something I would show, a first-time metal listener, or somebody who's only heard metal a few times, just because, I don't feel like, I feel like it would throw them off. I feel like if I started them out, with stuff like Slayer or Black Sabbath or Metallica or stuff like that, it would, they would latch onto it a little bit more and maybe identify with it a little bit more. And that's what he was saying, in his video. he was saying that, you know, saying you don't like the vocals is an extremely ignorant statement if you don't know what you're talking about. And I agree. I think a lot of people, you know, disregard the talent that metal takes, because I think all music is equal in the fact that, you know, it's art and you're able to express yourself. But I think a lot of people lose the talent that metal takes to do. You know, the drumming is really hard in some of the genres. The vocals are especially hard. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how hard metal vocals, especially, you know, extreme metal vocals with the screams and the gutturals and stuff, it was really hard to do. Even, you know, if you tried it before. And so I feel like him, you know, giving it a shot and explaining his take on it, is really insightful, and it at least helped me, you know, like put into words what I've been thinking for all these years. I've been thinking some of the stuff that he said a lot, but I didn't know how to really explain it to other people. And so I just wanted to say thank you to him for giving our music a shot, and for, you know, giving an explanation as to why you should give metal a shot. Because I think that people like him, if we have more like him, we can really get metal to more people who will enjoy it out there, and have it be bigger than it already is. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Lucky for, you know, being an awesome dude. He's obviously really smart about music, and he knows what he likes, and I really dig that. But he's also saying how he's given it a shot because he wanted to see what it was about. And so, yeah, he said another point in one of his other videos he made was that in other genres, if you don't know something that's really big, you know, he named some hip hop people, I don't remember. But he was saying if you don't know something in another genre and people know that you don't know that, they'll ridicule you. They'll be like, "Oh, you don't know that? That's crazy." But instead, he said in metal, when he was just finding out new bands, people were like, "Oh, you don't know this? You should try this then." You know, they weren't being, you know, mean or ridiculing him. They were, you know, recommending bands and being accepting and saying, "Oh yeah, you're just getting into it. You might not know that band." And so that's really cool. And so, yeah, again, I just wanted to thank him for being, welcoming. I wanted to thank the metalheads too for welcoming him into the community. And I wanted to thank him for being a super cool dude and, you know, showing a side of reaction YouTube that you don't really get to see a lot, which is somebody who genuinely is interested in the music and wants to find out more about it. So, yeah, I'm going to tag him. You should go check out his videos. They're super cool. I hope he sees this. I definitely have a lot fewer subscribers than him, but I hope he sees this. And so thank you, dude, for being awesome. I just want to say thank you. So, yeah, hope you're all doing well. Have a nice day. See ya.